Stop what you're doing. Right now, this second. Put down that avocado toast. Tell your boss you're sick. Cancel your therapy appointment. Unplug your Peloton bike. I don't care if you're mid-rep. Drop it. This is more important than your protein shake. More important than your morning affirmations. More important than finding out who got eliminated on whatever reality show you're binging. If you own silver, any silver at all, physical or paper, do not check your account until after this video. You will either panic or celebrate. I need neither until you understand what just happened. What is happening? What will happen next? January 23rd, 2026. Something impossible 72 hours ago just occurred. Let me be clear about what I told you last week. I told you the margin hikes would work. I told you the banks were too powerful. I told you they would crush this rally like they crushed every rally before. And you know what? The margin hikes did not work. The banks are not powerful enough. They did not crush the rally. They're the ones getting crushed. I have been watching silver markets for 17 years. 17 years of manipulation. 17 years of watching paper contracts suppress physical demand. 17 years of seeing the same banks play the same games. And in 17 years, I have never seen anything like this. Never seen in my life. The emperor has no clothes, and the entire world is about to see. Numbers do not lie. Politicians lie. Bankers lie. The media lies. Your financial advisor lies. But mathematics is truth. Cold, hard, undeniable. So let me give you the mathematics. January 20th, silver closes at $79 per ounce in New York. COMEX price, the official price, the price they tell you is real. January 21st, opens at 81, margin requirement increased 40%. They did this to kill the rally, to force leveraged buyers out. Standard playbook. It has worked every single time for 2 decades, except this time. By close, $87. January 22nd, $93. Today, January 23rd, we touched $104. 104. Let me say that again so it penetrates. $104 per ounce. But here's where it gets interesting. That is New York. That is paper. That is the COMEX closing price. Now let me tell you about Shanghai. Shanghai Physical Gold Exchange, the real market, where actual metal changes hands. Shanghai premium yesterday was $11. Today the premium is $13. $13 over COMEX. So while New York says 104, Shanghai is paying $117 for physical silver that you can hold in your hand. That actually exists. Let me say that again. The spread is $13. 13. The average spread over the last 5 years is $2. 2, sometimes 3 during supply crunches. $13 means one thing, only one thing. There's no silver. The COMEX price is fake. The paper price is fiction. The real price is what people will pay for actual metal they can touch. And people in Shanghai are paying $117. Not might pay, not willing to pay. Are paying, right now, this second, while I am talking to you. The margin hike did not work. Let me be clear about what happened. CME Group, the people who run COMEX, they raised margin requirements from $11,000 per contract to $15,400. 40% increase overnight. You know why they did this? To flush out the speculators. To force liquidation, to drop the price. It is the same trick they have used for decades. Raise margin. Speculators cannot meet the call. They sell. Price drops. Banks cover shorts. Everyone forgets. Everyone moves on. Except this time, they did not move on. The speculators did not sell. The price did not drop. It went up. Up $25 in 3 days. 25. The manipulation did not work. The system is broken. The machine is not functioning. Let me name names. JPMorgan Chase, HSBC Holdings, Scotia Makata, Bank of Nova Scotia. These are not small players. These are the biggest bullion banks in the world. And these banks have been fined repeatedly for precious metals manipulation. JPMorgan paid $920 million in 2020 for spoofing gold and silver markets. $920 million. That is not a parking ticket. That is an admission. HSBC paid $40 million. Scotia paid over $100 million combined across multiple settlements. They were caught. They admitted wrongdoing. They paid the fines. Did they stop? No. They just got better at hiding it. Let me tell you about the traders. The actual human beings who went to prison. John Edmonds, JP Morgan precious metals trader, guilty. Christian Truns, same. Greg Smith, same. Michael Nowak, guilty. These are not conspiracy theories. These are court cases, convictions, prison sentences. The Department of Justice prosecuted them for racketeering. Racketeering, that is the same charge they use for organized crime. For the mafia, the prosecutors proved these traders spoofed the market thousands of times, placed orders they never intended to fill, created fake demand, fake supply, moved prices artificially for years. And they did it because it worked, made them millions, made the banks billions. until they got caught. But here is what nobody talks about. Those traders did not go rogue. They were following bank policy, following the playbook. The banks paid the fines. The traders went to prison. The system kept running. Same game, same manipulation, just different players. And now those players are trapped in a position they cannot escape. Here's what they did. For years, they sold paper silver they did not have, naked shorts, contracts promising to deliver metal they never owned, never intended to own. Why? Because it worked. They could suppress the price, keep it under $30, under $25, under $20. And as long as nobody asked for delivery, as long as everyone settled in cash, they were safe. They made billions. Billions selling something that did not exist. But something changed. I'm going to tell you exactly what changed. The shorts are trapped. Let me walk you through this step by step so you understand the magnitude. When silver was at $28, these banks sold short, promised to deliver at $28. When it hit $35, they sold more, tried to cap the rally. When it broke $40, they panicked, sold even more, doubled down. Now here's their problem. They are short $25 billion worth of silver, $25 billion, and the price is $104. Do the math. If they sold short at an average of $40 and the price is $104, they are underwater $64 per ounce. Multiply that across the position. The losses are catastrophic, existential. And here is the real problem. They cannot cover. There is not enough physical silver in the world to cover this position. They are trapped, cornered, and cornered animals are dangerous. Let me show you the smoking gun that proves this is real. The COMEX warehouse stocks, total registered silver available for delivery, is 87 million ounces. 87 million sounds like a lot until you understand the short position. The total open interest in COMEX silver futures is 900 million ounces. 900 million. That means for every ounce of actual deliverable silver in the warehouse, there are 10 paper claims. 10. This is fractional reserve banking applied to commodities. And it worked. Until now. Because now people are standing for delivery. They are not settling in cash. They want the metal. And the metal does not exist. Look at what happened to First Majestic Silver. They are a primary silver producer. Mining company. They announced last week they are keeping production. Not selling at COMEX prices. Holding physical for higher prices. Pan American Silver. Same thing. For Snilo, same thing. The producers know. They see the shortage. They understand the game is over. So they are not playing anymore. They are holding the metal. And without the producers selling, where do the banks get silver to deliver? They do not. They cannot. Now let me tell you about industrial demand. This is critical. Silver is not just money. Silver is technology. Every solar panel needs silver, 1 ounce per panel. The world is installing solar at record pace. China alone installed 200 gigawatts last year. That consumed 300 million ounces of silver. 300 million. Gone. Not coming back. Once silver goes into a solar panel, it is done. Used, destroyed. Same with electric vehicles. Every EV needs between 1 and 3 ounces of silver for the computers, for the charging systems, for the battery management. Global EV sales hit 14 million units last year. That is another 28 million ounces, minimum. Add in 5G infrastructure, add in medical devices, add in water purification, add in every single electronic device you own. Silver is in all of it. And that demand is growing, not shrinking, growing. 30% year over year. But production is not growing. Global mine production is 850 million ounces per year. It's been flat for a decade. Flat. No new major discoveries. No new mines coming online. The existing mines are getting deeper, more expensive, lower grade. It costs more to pull silver out of the ground today than it did 10 years ago, but the price, until now, was lower. How does that math work? It does not. Miners were losing money, so they stopped exploring, stopped developing, stopped expanding. And now we have demand growing 30% while supply is flat. You do not need an economics degree to see where this goes. The West is asleep, still watching CNBC, still trusting the system, still believing that the price on the screen is real, still thinking their ETF shares represent actual silver sitting in a vault somewhere with their name on it. The West is conditioned to trust. Trust the banks, trust the regulators, trust the media. Do not ask questions, do not verify, just trust. But the East is awake. The East knows. The East has seen this before. The East remembers when Nixon closed the gold window, remembers when the London gold pool collapsed, remembers every broken promise the Western financial system has made. And the East is buying every single ounce they can find. And it is not just individuals. Central banks are buying. The People's Bank of China added silver to reserves for the first time in 20 years. First time, they're diversifying away from dollars, away from treasury bonds, into hard assets. Russia, same thing. India, same thing. These are not emotional decisions. These are calculated moves by sophisticated institutions with access to information we do not have. They know what is coming. They are preparing. And when central banks buy, they do not buy paper. They buy physical. They demand delivery. They vault it. They hold it forever. India sold out. Every dealer from Mumbai to Delhi, shelves empty, premiums 40% over spot, people waiting weeks for delivery. And they are paying. Not complaining about premium, not waiting for a dip, buying. Now, China, same story. Shanghai premiums hit $13 like I told you. But that is just the exchange. Go to the street dealers. $20 premiums, 20, and still cannot get metal. The government is not stopping it this time. Not restricting imports. They want their citizens to own silver. They understand what is coming. Singapore, sold out. Dubai, sold out. Hong Kong, 3-week delays minimum. The entire Eastern Hemisphere is in acquisition mode. And the West is still debating whether this is a bubble. Here is what the experts will tell you. They will tell you arbitrage. They will say if Shanghai is paying 117 and New York is 104, smart traders will buy in New York, ship to Shanghai, make $13 risk-free. Textbook arbitrage should equalize prices instantly, except it is not happening. Why? Let me give you 3 reasons. Each one alone destroys the arbitrage argument. First reason, there is no metal to buy in New York. The COMEX registered stocks are spoken for, allocated, already claimed. You cannot just walk up and buy silver from COMEX. You need to be an authorized participant. You need to have a futures contract. You need to stand for delivery. And even then, you are getting on a waiting list, a long waiting list, behind everyone else who had the same idea weeks ago. So there is nothing to buy. You cannot arbitrage something that does not exist. Second reason, you cannot ship to China, not easily, not quickly, not without export licenses and paperwork and approval from multiple agencies. The US government does not want strategic metals flowing to China. Silver is strategic, used in solar panels, used in batteries, used in military applications. The export controls are real, the friction is real, and even if you could get approval, the shipping takes weeks. By the time your silver arrives in Shanghai, the premium might be gone, or it might be $30. You do not know. So the risk is not zero. The arbitrage is not risk-free. Third reason, the banks do not want to buy. They are short. They are trapped. The last thing they want to do is buy silver at 104. That would realize their losses. That would require them to close positions, to admit defeat, to show the world they were wrong. They would rather keep the paper game going as long as possible. Roll contracts, pay cash settlements, do anything except buy physical metal. So even though arbitrage should work in theory, in practice, nobody with the ability to execute it wants to. Now I need to talk directly to you, based on your situation, your position, your exposure. Listen carefully because what I say next will determine whether you survive what is coming or get destroyed. If you own physical silver, bars, coins, rounds, anything you can hold in your hand, do not sell. Do not even think about selling. Do not check prices every hour and get tempted by gains. You hold the winning ticket in the greatest transfer of wealth in modern history. The price on your screen is fake. The COMEX price is manipulated. The real price is what people pay in the real world for real metal. Shanghai pays 117. That is the real value. And it is going higher, much higher. Your physical silver is not an investment. It is a life raft. The ship is sinking. The banks are trapped. The system is breaking. And you have the only asset that cannot be printed, cannot be created, cannot be rehypothecated. Hold it. Add to it if you can. But do not sell. Not at 104. Not at 150. Not at 200. You decide when this ends. Not the banks. Not the government. You. If you own paper silver, ETFs, futures, mining stocks. You need to understand counterparty risk right now, today. Your shares in SLV represent a claim on silver held by a custodian. That custodian is a bank. That bank might be short physical silver in other parts of their business. Do you trust them? Do you trust that your shares are backed 1-to-1 with metal you could actually receive if you asked for it? Or do you think maybe, possibly, there is some fractional reserve situation happening? Some rehypothecation? Some lending of your silver to short sellers? If you're not sure, you need to decide right now which side of this you want to be on. The side holding real assets, or the side holding promises from banks that are currently trapped in the biggest short squeeze in commodity market history. If you own futures, understand that cash settlement is coming. They will not deliver metal. They cannot. They will force you to take cash at whatever price they decide is fair. And that price will not be 117. It will be whatever keeps them solvent. Paper is risk. Physical is safety. Decide right now which one you want. Let me be specific about the ETFs. SLV, the biggest silver ETF. 650 million ounces allegedly backing it. Custodian is JPMorgan, the same JPMorgan that paid $920 million for manipulation. The same JPMorgan that is short. You see the problem? Your silver, their custodian, their vault, their control. Read the prospectus. Really read it. It says they can settle in cash if physical delivery is not practical. Not practical. Those two words destroy the entire promise. When it is not practical, they decide. Not you, them. And I guarantee you, when 100 million SLV holders all ask for delivery at the same time, it will suddenly become not practical. PSLV is better. Sprott Physical Silver Trust. Allocated storage, segregated. You can redeem for physical if you have enough shares, but even PSLV has limitations. Minimum redemption, 10,000 ounces. You have 10,000 ounces worth of PSLV shares? Most people do not, so you are still trusting, still hoping, still exposed to counterparty risk, better than SLV, absolutely. But not the same as holding physical metal in your possession. If you own nothing, if you are watching this, wondering whether you should buy. The question is, not should you buy. The question is, can you still buy? Physical silver is disappearing from the market. Every major dealer in the United States is showing delays. APMEX 3 weeks, JM Bullion 2 weeks. 2. SD Bullion, sold out of most products. The US Mint suspended Silver Eagle production twice last year due to blank shortages. Twice. The blanks come from refineries. The refineries get material from miners and recyclers. The miners are holding production. The recyclers cannot keep up with demand. So there are no blanks. No blanks means no coins. No coins means you cannot buy. The window is closing. Fast. If you can still find metal, if you can still get delivery in less than a month, you are lucky. That window will not stay open. Premiums are rising. Availability is falling. The choice is now or never. Call the dealers yourself. Do not take my word. Call APMEX, call SD Bullion, call your local coin shop. Ask them what they have in stock. Ask them delivery times. Ask them premiums. They will tell you the same thing I'm telling you. Inventory is gone. Wait times are extending. Premiums are climbing. This is not theory. This is reality happening right now. Let me tell you what happens next. This is not prediction. This is pattern recognition. This is what always happens when paper markets disconnect from physical reality. First, premiums explode. We are seeing this now. $13 Shanghai premium, 20 in the street markets. Going to 25, 30, 40. Second, delivery delays extend. 3 weeks becomes 6 weeks. 6 weeks becomes 3 months. 3 months becomes we cannot give you a date. Third, dealers stop taking orders. They cannot source metal. They cannot make promises they cannot keep. So they stop. They close their doors. They put up sold out signs. We are in phase 2 heading into phase 3. Once we hit phase 3, it is over. You cannot buy at any price because there is nothing to buy. We have seen this before. 1980, the Hunt brothers, Nelson Bunker Hunt and William Herbert Hunt. 2 billionaires from Texas, oil money. They started buying silver in 1973, small at first, then bigger. By 1979, they owned over 100 million ounces of physical silver, plus futures, plus options. They controlled half the deliverable supply in the world. Half. The price went from $6 to $50 in 4 months. $50. In 1980, that is $130 in today's money adjusted for inflation. And you know what happened? The exchange changed the rules, stopped them from buying, forced liquidation, raised margins to 100%. You could not buy on margin anymore. Only sell. The price crashed. The Hunts went bankrupt, lost everything. But here's the difference. The Hunts were speculators. They were using leverage. They were vulnerable. The people buying today are not speculators. They are nations, central banks, billionaires protecting wealth. They are paying cash, no leverage, no margin calls. You cannot force them out. And the amount they are buying dwarfs what the Hunts bought. The Hunts bought 100 million ounces over 6 years. China imported 200 million ounces last year alone. Last year. India imported 150 million. The scale is completely different. The exchanges cannot stop this. The regulators cannot stop this. The banks cannot stop this. The experts are starting to wake up. Keith Neumeyer at First Majestic called $150 by end of year. Rick Rule, legendary resource investor, says 200 minimum. Lynette Zhang thinks 300. These are not YouTubers, not crypto bros. These are people who have been in precious metals for 40 years. And they're all saying the same thing. The shorts are trapped. The system is breaking. The price is going much higher. I am going to give you my number. I think they are all conservative. I think we see 150 by March, 200 by June, 300 by year end. And if this turns into a true short squeeze, if the banks are forced to cover, we could see 400, 500, 600. There is no ceiling when you have 900 million ounces of paper claims on 87 million ounces of real metal. The mathematics are unsustainable. Something has to give. And it will not be the physical holders who give. It will be the paper system that breaks. Here's my last warning. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm not going to hedge. I am not going to give you maybes and possiblies. Major dealers are sold out right now. The US Mint is not producing enough to meet demand. Premiums are at historic highs. The price is climbing. 104 today, 110 tomorrow, 120 next week. Every day you wait is a day you pay more. Every day you wait is a day metal becomes harder to find. This is not a drill. This is not hype. This is the real thing. The shorts are trapped. The East is buying. The West is waking up. And you need to decide right now, right this second, which side are you on? If this video made sense to you, if you understand what I just explained, I need you to do 3 things. First, hit the like button. This video will get suppressed. The algorithm does not like content that threatens the financial system, so like it. Second, subscribe to this channel. I will be tracking this story every single day until it resolves. You need to know what happens next. Third, share this. Send it to everyone you know who owns silver or who should own silver. They need to hear this. The mainstream media will not tell them. CNBC will not tell them. Their financial advisor will not tell them. You have to tell them. Final words. Get out of paper. Get into physical. Find a dealer who has inventory. Pay the premium. Take delivery. Store it somewhere safe. And then hold on. This ride is just beginning. We are at 104, heading to 150, heading to 200, heading to places nobody thought possible 6 months ago. The banks are trapped. The system is breaking. The emperor has no clothes, and everyone is about to see. Now. Right now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, go. Make the decision. Take action. Before the window closes completely, go, go, go.